Hello again, I'm Bob Colt. We're continuing our conversations in Charlotte Public Schools, and we're going to talk about the upper elementary student enrichment programs. And this is Tiffany Roodvoets. Did I say that right?
Yes, perfect.
This is your area of expertise, but she's also joined by a smiling participant, if you smile for us, Ashley Hankins. Welcome. So, Tiffany, tell us a little bit about the upper elementary programs. I mean, what is it that you do, and what kind of programs are kids offered?
We offer a variety of programs. A lot of them, which I think are great, are offered during the day. We have everything from Casey Club, which is part of Rachel's Challenge, which is dealing with inter-school relationships with students. We have Chess Club. We do Rubber Band Loom Club. We do Recycling Club. We've had Writers Club, Robotic Club. I do Cribbage Club and Uno Club. And it's a great way to bring a diverse group of students together and gives adults a chance to work with students they may not normally work with.
And Ashley, what do you like?
The Loom Club.
Why? Talk about it.
Because I can teach people how to loom.
And it's fun to do?
Yes.
What do you like about it?
I like looming and making stuff for people.
Great. Well, Tiffany, break the list of programs down for us a little bit. How do you get kids in those upper elementary grades involved?
You know, it's really easy. I talked with our principal last year about doing a cribbage club with students, and we just put the word out, and I think I had maybe close to 30 kids the first time that it was offered, and then they'll invite friends, other kids will drop off, other kids will fill in. So every week we have a full house, and then I put out the word this year for Recycling Club, and I had more students interested than I could actually utilize. So it gives kids a good opportunity to do something else during lunchtime. You know, not every kid wants to just go out and play. Some kids like to serve, some kids just like to have an option of something else. So it's been a good draw for a great group of kids.
Ashley, have you had some friends, met some people that you like in some of these programs?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about them. Who are your friends? And what do you do besides just looming? You do more than that, don't you?
I do cribbage on Friday, and we sometimes do Uno Friday too.
Mm-hmm. And so Uno's a game that helps you in a lot of ways, right? Talk a little bit about why you have that, Tiffany. What does Uno do for kids?
Well, to me, it's more important about building those relationships. Of course, it's great for the math skills and the strategy, but I just like seeing the interaction among kids that wouldn't normally come together. I've seen kids, like in the Loom Club, somebody will say, well, I'd like to do this, but I don't know how to do it. And I'll see some kid across the room that overhears them and say, hey, can I help you? I mean, it's really neat to see these kids interact. The cribbage, not as many kids participate because that's quite a skill to learn, but they'll come in, they'll watch other people learn. Mr. Schwartz, our school counselor, comes in and helps me play cribbage because that's a lot to learn. I'm still learning myself, but it's great because as other kids are learning, they love to share. Kids love to share all day in class. This is a great way to enable them to be a teacher and to give them something to feel good about. You know, not every child loves the academic part of school. Some kids, it's tough for them, and this is a great way to draw other kids in that you might not normally be able to reach.
Mm-hmm. So, Ashley, you've met a lot of other kids doing this, and are you kind of a teacher in some of the things you do?
Yeah.
Talk about that. What do you do? I mean, especially for the things you're most interested in.
Well, I help them learn how to do games and loom and stuff.
Yeah. Kids might not know the rules or the strategy, and you help them out. And so, why are these things important to kids, Tiffany? I mean, you said some of them might not be great performers in class, but school offers a lot of different activities. It makes kids like school, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I have kids that'll stop me in the hall, Mrs. Roodvoets, can you have running club? Or Mrs. Roodvoets, why can't we do this, Wednesdays, Thursdays? just gives them something fun to look forward to. Some kids, I mean, they work hard all day, and this is a good outlet for them. It gives them some variety in their day. It's relaxing. It gives people a safe place to go. You know, if you're a shy student, you go out on the playground, there's hundreds of kids. I would feel more comfortable as a student being in a room with like 25 other kids, you know, and you could easily make a friendship, a relationship in that setting. So I think it's good for a variety of things. I think it's great for students like Ashley. She's like a natural teacher, and it's so neat to see her offering to help. It's a good skill to help her help others learn as well. So it's beneficial for both sides, I believe.
Yeah. So did you hear that? You're a good teacher.
She knows.
She knows that, huh? And so are you competitive when you play Uno and everything? Do you win a lot?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. You don't really need to win all the time, though, do you? Yeah. So do you like school, too?
Mm-hmm.
And so of all the things you do in class, Ashley, what do you like about school?
I like my teacher. I like the clubs and stuff.
Great. Okay, so a kid is in the upper elementary ages. How is that different? I mean, a lot of parents may know that that's kind of a different age, that they're doing different things. Tell me what's unique about upper elementary kind of age kids.
Like from the elementary,
Yeah.
comparatively, I did work in an elementary, and the students' days are much more structured. And I think it's nice as students come up to 4th grade, they realize that they have a little bit more freedom. There's larger opportunities, there's more variety. And I think it's nice because they're not middle schoolers yet. They're not as free to make as many decisions, but I think it's a nice stepping stone because they do have some choices they can make. I mean, even down to the lunchroom, the kids in elementary school, they have 2 choices, A or B. And they come to the upper L, and there's such a variety for them. So I think it's nice. It's giving them small steps towards adulthood that they did not have as elementary students.
Yeah. Are they growing fast at that age?
They're growing incredibly fast. I'm looking up to some of them already. So.
Is that true for you, Ashley?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people are growing fast. So, so as you have offered these different programs, what sort of feedback have you gotten, Tiffany?
I've gotten positive feedback, mostly from teachers and other students. Well, I did have a neat experience. One day, 2 parents were walking their child to their classroom at the beginning of the day. I don't have this student, but I've interacted with her a lot. So I stopped her parents and I said, "Are you so-and-so's mom and dad?" And I introduced myself. I said, "Your student is just a lovely girl." And they said, "Oh, we've heard all sorts of nice things about you, Mrs. Roodvoets." And to me that was really touching, because if I hadn't had these clubs, if I wasn't interacting with these other students, I would never have had the opportunity to meet this student, meet her parents. And I just think Charlotte's a community that's small enough that we can recognize each other out in the stores and on the streets, and the more that we can interact with people, I think the school is a great place to start, but I think we can reach out to others, and it can have that trickle effect in our community as well.
Yeah, it's almost a community center in a lot of ways.
And I feel like our school is like a community in its own structure, so I see a connection there.
Yeah, and so how has your career progressed? I mean, is this this isn't the first teaching level you've been in, right?
No. I've gone to school a long time. Education was my second profession. And I started teaching in the elementary school. This is only my 2nd year at the Q.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've really found my niche with this age group. But actually, I've told my principal before, I think I would love any group that I'm with, but I do really like this age level. They are making their own decisions. You can see changes in them month to month. They're growing up quick.
Yeah.
So.
And so what does it take to be a good teacher? You can answer this too, Ashley, because you're kind of a teacher to other kids too.
It takes confidence.
Mm-hmm. Confidence?
I think you can reach kids well if they feel like you care. It's more than just teaching them reading and math. You have to take the time to get to know who they are. And our days are so full that the clubs that I do, it gives me an opportunity to get to know them beyond what reading level they're at or what their division is looking like. So I think, like anybody, students need kindness, they need compassion, they need a bit of empathy. They need to know that school is a safe place. They need to know that somebody cares about them.
And the year actually goes by pretty quickly, doesn't it?
You know, it's sad. People think teachers look forward to June and July. I am actually sad. I told my students after spring break, we only have 9 weeks left, and I will miss them terribly. But that's a good problem, that you've enjoyed them so much.
Yeah. And you have to go a little longer this year because of snow days. So you'll be going a little later into June.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be kind of different. So how do you, what do you do to get parents to participate in their child's education, Tiffany?
I think communication is key. I have some wonderful parents in my classroom. I think you set the stage at open house. You welcome them, you welcome their children. And I think parents want to be involved in their children's education. I just don't think that parents always know how to become involved. I have my own children, and if teachers don't communicate with me, I don't know what I can do to help. So I think if you set the stage for communication, make parents feel welcomed in your room, I think that you will have a good rapport with parents, and parents want to help in any way that they can. They just may need to know how they can do that.
And you really need them to be active in their kids' education, don't you?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Because it doesn't stop when they just leave your Q club.
No.
Yeah.
No. And I feel very fortunate. I feel like my parents are very vested in their children's education.
Yeah. So Ashley, you told us what you like to do in the clubs. What are your absolute favorite subjects so far?
I like all.
You like all of them. You like to do math.
Mm-hmm.
It's challenging. How about social studies? You like that? History?
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. So, Tiffany, how do you keep kids interested in what's going on at school? You give them some different things to do and let them make those decisions?
Yeah, and I think Ashley and my students would say I'm very animated. I have a lot of energy, and I think that helps a lot. I don't just sit in a chair all day and tell them what to do. I think because I act excited, that it helps them realize that learning can be fun. And I think we try to accomplish that every day.
Yeah, so it is fun, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the most fun about learning? Do you like the technology and computer and iPads, or what you do playing competitions and activities with other students?
I like doing the activities.
Do you? And what would you, are you thinking about, moving up to middle school and high school too, Ashley? No, you're not thinking about that right now. And so did you enjoy your spring break?
Yes.
And tell me what you did on spring break.
I did a little bit of math. I went shopping.
Shopping, great. And so kids come back from spring break and it's kind of like they're all charged up and you're down the home stretch of school, right? Mm-hmm. And so what do you have to do as a teacher to make sure that you've completed everything in a year?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if you ever feel like you've completed everything. I always tell the kids there's this much to do and we have this much time to do it.
Yeah.
So I think the greatest thing we can do is work to keep them focused and just, make them realize that we do have a job at hand, and I think we do that regularly. We have to accomplish this because there is so much for you to learn. We just have to stay on course.
Yeah. And so talk about the use of technology. Has that really helped you now, computers and iPads and all of those things?
I think they help tremendously. I can't imagine teaching without them. If my students have a question, they know that Google is my favorite thing in the world. I'll say, let me Google that. I don't know either. Or I'll say, why don't you check that out? And if you find out at home, let us, share it with the class. The kids use iPads every day. They've had technology class. Some kids bring in their Kindles and their e-readers and use those. I have kids emailing me spelling assignments. I think it's a great diversity. Again, not every student is geared to learn exactly like everyone else. Some kids like to type, some kids like to write. I think the more variety we can offer is a greater way of catching more students and getting them interested in learning.
Yeah, because they're still experimenting, right? They're looking for things that they like
Exactly.
and are good at.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what kind of challenges do you have at the end of the year, Tiffany? I mean, obviously it's just the calendar, getting everything in is one important challenge, but what else?
I think keeping students on task until that last day, because we learn until that last day. I think it's hard for some kids knowing that summer's coming and their schedule may not be as consistent as it's been. I mean, I know on spring break that it was difficult for me. I thrive on a schedule. So I think it's hard. We're all going about our lives and we're all busy. So I think, as we approach the end of the year, it's difficult for some of us because we don't necessarily know what's going to happen in June and July and August. But I think that's true for everyone.
Well, Tiffany Roodvoets, thank you for joining us talking about education in the upper elementary at the Q, and Ashley Hankins, thank you for sharing some of your student experience today. I'm Bob Colt, and we'll continue our conversation in Charlotte Public Schools.